It all started in what many thought was just another wrestling-style stunt. Rampage Jackson, son of Rampage, stepped into the ring with Psycho Stu, a veteran known for hardcore matches. At first, fans assumed they were watching the usual scripted chaos, but this time, it wasn't fake. Raja suddenly exploded with real violence, lifting Stu high into the air and slamming him down with force that had the crowd gasping. Then came the barrage. Punch after punch, even as Stu lay motionless. What looked like a storyline quickly turned into a disturbing spectacle. Half the audience thought it was some kind of pre-planned angle. The other half knew immediately that this was no joke. To them, Raja's outburst looked like a premeditated assault. And the worst part, cameras caught every second, but this was only the beginning. Within hours, clips spread across social media. The reaction was explosive. Fitness streamer HS TikToki was one of the first to call Raja out, challenging him to a boxing match, and mocking him for taking down someone who wasn't even defending himself. Another influencer, Mayan, took it further. He flat out said he didn't see a scenario where Raja escaped arrest. And honestly, a lot of people agreed. Fans were posting things like, "Yo, be honest, I don't see how he doesn't go to jail after that." Even professional fighters couldn't stay silent. Boxing star Ryan Garcia called it the worst thing I've seen in a long time and demanded that Raja be locked up. The internet had already judged him guilty. But then another twist surfaced, a video from earlier in the night. That video showed Psycho Stu smashing a beer can over Raja's head backstage. UFC veteran Chael Sonnen chimed in, saying maybe that provocation explained why Raja snapped. Maybe he wasn't the villain after all. But things got messy fast, because new footage showed Raja accepting Stu's apology just moments later. The two shook hands, laughed it off, and moved on, or so it seemed. So if Raja forgave him backstage, why launch a sneak attack in the ring hours later? That question only made his actions look worse, and the community grew even more divided. On one side were fighters like Derek Brunson. He condemned Raja, saying the attack wasn't just unnecessary, it was disgraceful. Others echoed him, pointing out that when a guy is already knocked out, continuing to strike him is crossing a line. But then you had YouTubers like Jesse on Fire, who bizarrely turned the blame on Psycho Stu. He mocked Stu's intelligence and tried to justify Raja's rage. That rant backfired hard. Fans quickly reminded him that Stu was an ex-military veteran who used wrestling to cope with PTSD and even volunteered with charities. It was turning into a morality war. Was Raja a victim of provocation or just a hot-headed kid desperate to prove he wasn't living in his father's shadow? Soon, talk shifted from outrage to legal consequences. With the clip going viral, police were under enormous pressure to act. Legal experts online said what millions were thinking. This wasn't just a fight. It looked like an attempted crime. Every angle of the footage was being replayed. The slam, the unanswered shots, the referee failing to intervene. Fans weren't just demanding Raja's arrest. They were even calling for the ref to be punished for letting it happen. And while the internet raged, Raja made things worse by staying online, talking about the incident as if it was just another stream highlight. But as the world debated Raja's fate, his father stepped in and poured gasoline on the fire. Instead of staying quiet and protecting his son legally, Rampage Jackson went public. He defended Raja, pointing out that Stu had hit him with a can first, but that explanation didn't help. To many, it made things worse. Rampage sounded like he was making excuses when what people wanted was accountability. Fans argued he should have told his son to stay silent, hire a lawyer, and face the situation like a man. For the first time in years, Rampage's own reputation took a hit. Not because of what he did, but because of what he said, and the entire Jackson family was now caught in the storm. And while Raja's drama dominated headlines, another fighter took a completely different path. Dricus du Plessis, fresh off his loss to Khamzat Chimaev, released a statement that was the polar opposite of Raja's meltdown. Instead of blaming anyone, du Plessis accepted defeat head-on. He admitted Chimaev was the better man that night, but he promised to come back stronger. He framed the loss as a necessary step in his journey, saying you can't taste the sweet without first tasting the bitter. He thanked fans, sponsors, and even his haters, promising that one day he'd return the favor. His words were sharp, but his attitude showed maturity. While Raja looked reckless and defensive, du Plessis showed resilience and vision. The contrast between these two fighters couldn't be more striking. One was destroying his own future, the other was using his setback as fuel. And just when fans thought the chaos was enough, Khabib Nurmagomedov dropped a bomb of his own. Speaking about Ilia Topuria, the undefeated Georgian who's become one of the sport's brightest stars, Khabib claimed that if Topuria faced Arman Tsarukyan, it wouldn't even be close. According to Khabib, Tsarukyan would dominate Topuria 80-20. His reasoning: Topuria has only fought strikers. Yes, he beat Holloway and Oliveira, but Khabib dismissed their wrestling as practically non-existent. Against a true grappler like Tsarukyan, Khabib said the story changes completely. The MMA world erupted. Topuria's fans argued that his striking and composure make him untouchable. But others agreed with Khabib, believing that Arman's grappling would smother Ilia's flashy stand-up game. Islam Makhachev added his own take, pointing out that the Caucasus region, Dagestan, Chechnya, Georgia, is already producing some of the most dominant fighters in the world. But to take that dominance global, he said, fighters need to master promotion, language, and communication. In other words, skill alone isn't enough. To truly take over the sport, these fighters must also win fans, build stories, and connect with the wider audience. So here's where we stand. Raja Jackson's violent outburst has divided fans, shaken the MMA and wrestling worlds, and put his future in jeopardy. Meanwhile, fighters like Dricus du Plessis and legends like Khabib remind us what separates hot-headed recklessness from true greatness. The question now isn't just whether Raja will face prison time. It's deeper. Did we just witness the collapse of a young man desperate for respect, or the beginning of a redemption story that hasn't been written yet? And on the other side, will Topuria silence Khabib's doubts? Or is Tsarukyan truly the lightweight king waiting in the shadows? One thing's for sure, MMA has never been this unpredictable. So fight fans, what do you think? Was Raja a victim pushed too far, or did he destroy his future with one reckless act? And do you agree with Khabib, or is Topuria still the man to beat? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories from the fight world. Because if there's one thing we've learned this week, it's that in MMA, the line between legend and downfall can vanish in an instant.